What is going on, everybody? I am the FDGURU, bringing to you guys an NBA edition of my DFS podcast. We have a big 9-game main slate tonight on FanDuel. We have 3 games starting at 9 o'clock for the later games. DraftKings elected to put one more game on their main slate. They put the Timberwolves and Nuggets game at 9 o'clock Eastern on their main slate. So that's a 10-game slate over there on DraftKings. Not a ton of injury guys, which is great. You know, as we get down to the end of the regular season, the injury reports get, more lengthy as we go. Not a ton tonight. We'll talk about that. Just dropped my MLB video. I'll put a link to that after or at the end of this video. You can click on it. It's got a free Guru credit code involved as well, as we now have both NBA and MLB going on. For the injury report, though, we'll go over that real quick. It's not a ton. We have LeBron James and AD in that first game, questionable. We all know they're both going to have a better chance of playing than not. We'll know that news regardless before lock, which is nice since they're on the East Coast on a road trip in Indiana tonight. That game has a 244 over-under, so a ton of points projected in that game. The Clippers and Magic, no injuries to really look at. It looks like a wash of a game in general. Pretty healthy on both. 212 over under. Just looks unappetizing in every which way for DFS. So probably won't get any exposure to that game. We have a very opposite approach to the Pistons and Wizards tonight. That looks like a great DFS game. Maybe the best DFS game tonight. Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey both questionable, but they both went through shoot-around this morning. I know Cade Cunningham did. I'm not quite sure if Ivey did. He was present at shoot-around, so we've seen in the past that doesn't mean anything, but we still have to assume they have a better chance of playing than not. But we'll talk about that game. I have some plays in this video. We got Kuminga, Warriors at Charlotte. Kuminga's questionable again. We saw Trace Jackson Davis start in his place last game. We got Donovan Mitchell expected to come back tonight for the Cavs. So that game doesn't look great either. The 76ers and Cavs looks very similar to the Clippers and Magic. Just both of those games very, very difficult to get to anyone. Then we got DeAndre Ayton once again questionable for the Trailblazers. Tough matchup against the Heat. There could be some value there since Tamari Kamara is out for that Blazers team, and we see Jeremy Grant doubtful again and Anthony Simons once again out. And then one last guy is Jusuf Nurkic in the Suns and Thunder is questionable. So all in all, not a ton of stuff. We do have the last games of the slate at 8 o'clock Eastern, just an hour after lock, so we'll probably have a bulk of the news before lock, which is always great. So as usual, I'm going to give you guys 5 plays, one for each position, and we got to look at Jordan Poole tonight. He just is going to grade out really well. The matchup couldn't be any better. It's tough to get to the Wizards on a daily basis because they're always, blowout. They always have a risk to get blown out, but we have 2 terrible teams here. It's only a 4-point spread, making this game very intriguing to get to. Both teams have bad defenses. Poole at 7,400, pretty pricey. He is coming into his own, though, towards the end of the season, and he's been thriving in the extra usage with no Tyus Jones in the lineup, who remains out for the Wizards. He's going to play a ton of minutes. We can project him for 35 to 39 minutes tonight, and he can easily be a fantasy point per minute kind of guy. One of the better projected guys on this slate. The matchup is just so good against the Pistons. Really, really good. He can play point guard and shooting guard. Now, if you're a little hesitant because of his consistency for cash games, I get it. At the very least, you want to look at him in tournaments. His upside is there. He just dropped a 54. He got a 47 3 games ago. I like the way Jordan Poole looks tonight, and I never thought I would say this season, but he has been starting to play better, and the matchup is elite against the Pistons. Shooting guard, I do like spending up on Jalen Williams. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is once again doubtful. He missed last game. We saw Jalen Williams have a huge usage boost. Him and Josh Giddey, Chet Holmgren, these guys are just going to see a ton of usage without SGA. This is a great game. overall. DFS-wise and just for pure basketball viewership, two very good teams going at it. We have a 1.5 point spread for the Suns on the road. A nice hefty 228 over-under. Really good game to get to. Now, the prices have gone up a little bit for these Thunder guys. Jalen Williams was, I think, 7,900 last slate. 8,300, needs 41 fantasy points. I still like him. He's projected for 41 right now. He got 48 against Houston. He did get that extra 5 minutes in overtime, though. I still like him a lot. He's a guy who can do a lot. We saw him get 10 assists. That's no coincidence that he was getting more assists with SGA off the court. Josh Giddey, you could get up to Josh Giddey. His price went up to 7,400. That's a little steep in my opinion, but you could still get to him. I do think Jalen Williams is the safer play for $900 more. He looks like the best player on the Thunder tonight. Again, you could look at Giddey, though, at 7,400. He had a really good game with no SGA as well, getting 50 fantasy points, and he's been playing better as of late, too. His minutes have always been an issue this year. His rotations have been weird, but we can feel a little bit better about his rotation and minutes with SGA most likely out for tonight's game. Small forward, I don't know. He looks like a great value play right now. It's a good matchup. He's going to start. Corey Kispert, he's been all over the map as of late, playing tons of minutes. We can project him for 35 to 40 minutes. We know he's going to score, 15 to 20 points as he usually does. It's just his other stats have just been so weird. 12 rebounds one game, and then he gets like 1 and 2 and 3 rebounds, and then he doesn't run into any blocks and steals. He's just weird, but he projects for 26 fantasy points tonight. The matchup, like I was saying, with Jordan Poole, just a really, really good matchup. It's a hard spot to get away from with the Pistons and Wizards. Looks pretty good. He's not like a must-play, but we don't have a ton of sub-6K value on this slate, so we might have to be forced to pick Corey Kispert. He looks like one of the better options in the low to mid 5,000s right now. He has been very up and down, but we can assume that he has a better game than not tonight with this matchup against the Pistons. His minutes look more than secure in a game that shouldn't be a blowout. So I don't mind Corey Kispert. He's done a lot of good things for me this year. I'm willing to roll the dice with him in this matchup against the Pistons. Then on the other side here, the last two plays are going to come from the Pistons. I mean, Chimezie Metu looks great. Now his price is up to 5K, and I know you never feel good about spending $5,000 on Chimezie Metu, but he's been playing a lot for the Pistons. Started last game against the Timberwolves, 32 minutes. Started against the Pelicans, 39 minutes. Didn't start against the Knicks. That was a weird one. They started Troy Brown. Right now, the projected starting lineup for the Pistons is Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey. They're both questionable, but they did go through shoot-around. Ev Blomwin, I don't even know. However you say that name. He's projected to start at small forward. Metu at the 4, and Jalen Duren at the 5. Now, if they did a weird Troy Brown start over Metu has to start for this to be a play. The good news here is it's a 7 o'clock start. So we'll get the news before lock. If Metu's in the starting lineup, even at 5K, he projects for over 25 fantasy points to hit value in a really good matchup against the Wizards. And that's another thing. There's a good chance he starts because you can't really go small against the Wizards. They have 3 big guys from small forward to center. Denny Advia starting at small forward is more of a power forward. He's tall. Kyle Kuzma and Marvin Bagley. So the Pistons are probably going to have to start Metu to stay big with the Wizards. And then for center, Jalen Duren looks fantastic. We have Rashawn Holmes out tonight. Marvin Bagley probably starting. Duren looks like he's going to project out for 36 fantasy points. His ceiling is huge. Again, just this Wizards and Pistons game looks great to get to on both sides. Overall, you could argue it's the best DFS game on this slate. Really good price on him. I like him to get 36 fantasy points. Again, the Pistons, they get blown out a lot, so his minutes are wonky. He plays low to mid-20s when they get blown out, but when the game's competitive, he's going to play 30 to 33 minutes. So In this spot against the Wizards, Duren has a 50-point ceiling. He could do a whole lot against this Wizards front court, so I do like spending up to him at 7,200. That'll do it for this video, guys. Give it a like. I'll put that MLB video up right below my webcam so you can click on that. Let's get after tonight's slate. Keep an eye out on, the handful of injuries to wait on for the questionable guys. But hope you guys all have a great Friday and a great weekend. Let's have a great start to the weekend in NBA and MLB. Until next time, I am the FD Guru. Peace.